And we're live. Hi, everyone. This is Dawn Nocera, and this is this month's Women Think and Grow Rich Hangout. And we're talking about intuition and the sixth sense this month. And I am going to post the link for where you can pop on in and join me in just a second. And I hope that you'll take the time to join me here. If you are on Google Plus, then you're watching this and you're able to join me live. Otherwise, you're watching from the internet, you're watching from Facebook, you're watching from my website, and you could be watching from anywhere. You could be watching from YouTube. If you want to be connected to this material more and get on my mailing list so you make sure that you're not missing anything and so you can get a hold of PDF copy of Think and Grow Rich so you can follow along with us and study this material and go deeper into it, then go to dawnnocera.com/TGR, as in Think Grow Rich, and you'll find a sign-up sheet there. But we are going deep, deep, deep into the bowels of intuition today. So just give me a second. I'm going to post this link. If you're not on Google Plus, you got to get on because it's really a fascinating place. People are, they're really helpful, and it's a community, and we've got Hangouts. We've got Hangouts like this where you can participate from the inside. Be patient with me, girls and guys, because I am having a hard time getting this link to you. So just give me a second and we'll get started. I see that some of you are watching, so I really appreciate that. You can post comments on whatever page that you're on, and as you post the comments, I will be able to see them, hopefully, from the inside. But we're talking about Think and Grow Rich in the book Think and Grow Rich. It's the very last chapter of Think and Grow Rich. It is the chapter on intuition. And one of the things I think is kind of important to kind of know when you're thinking about this chapter on intuition, Napoleon Hill, being Napoleon Hill, was in a place in time and a place in history that was kind of not looking up on these things like intuition, and you weren't talking so much in the mass media about intuition. You weren't talking about, definitely weren't talking about invisible counselors, and and you were not talking about things that would go against the religious structure of the day. And we're going to talk about that. Hopefully you can get on the inside because this is going to be a juicy conversation, I guarantee it. I want to share today some of the things that can really help you tap into your intuition. We'll talk about Napoleon Hill, what he was doing at the time and how he was tapping into his intuition. And we're going to talk about how you can, in your business, use your intuition to help you really master success, and how you can not only master success, but how you can master yourself and really dig deep into who you are and allow that great inspired divine seed within you to kind of blossom. So this is really what this chapter on the sixth sense is about, and it is the very, very last chapter. I see so many people want to get in on the Hangout, so I see Andrea, I'm going to add you in. Crystal, I'll add you in, and Elizabeth too. If anyone else wants added in from the inside, click on the link. If you're watching on the event page, click on the link, and you can either click on it or copy and paste that link that I just posted on the event page, and it'll get you on the inside. If you're having a hard time doing that, I'm going to add you in. I'm going to add you from the inside. I see Crystal's here. Hey, can you hear me? Good, because I just realized that I have my earphones plugged into the computer, but they're not in my ear. Awesome. I love this. I love technology. Awesome.
Can you
Okay.
hear me, Dawn?
Yeah, I can. It's a little muffled, but I can hear you.
Well, I'm going to have to pop out and pop back in because something weird's happening. So
Okay.
this is
Well,
my favorite chapter. I'm so excited you're doing this.
yeah, this is really my favorite chapter too because, for a long time, and people like you and me and people who I'm guessing that I'm attracting are very intuitive by nature. And it took me a long time, I'm going to tell you, a long time to understand that it's not something that you got to get. You don't got to get intuition. It's just allowing yourself to hear and trusting. We'll go back to that chapter on faith, trusting that you have this access to the infinite wisdom of the universe. And yeah, so it's really a beautiful chapter, and we're going to get into they're not hidden secrets because Napoleon Hill wrote about them very clearly in the chapter on intuition and Think and Grow Rich. This is my copy. This is my newest copy, and I love it because it's got the nice pink inside. I love it. But when he wrote this, some people are focusing. We keep focusing on the invisible counselors, which is an amazing concept, totally amazing and brilliant concept. But there's some real hidden, juicy, you just got to get these things. And when you get these things, then you can access your intuition at just an amazing, such a greater level than ever before. And I'm going to welcome Deb in. Hi, good. Glad you guys are listening from the event page and from wherever you are. So appreciate you being here because this is just, to me, it's my life's work is going deep into these success principles and bringing them to you in a way, hopefully, that makes your life easier, that makes your business easier, that helps you have the success that you want with so much less stress because it's so much easier than what we've always thought it was. And that's really what it's about. So good morning, Andrea's here. Crystal's here. So I'm going to be quiet just for a minute so I can ask our guests on the inside. When you're reading this book, if you haven't reread it recently, but when you're just hearing me go through this little, thing about intuition, what is it that you want to bring to light during our hangout today? What is it that that either you want to share or you want to receive from masterminding on this topic on intuition? I'd love to hear, so I'm going to be quiet and let you chat.
Okay, I'll jump in. This is one of my favorite topics. So, intuition, I definitely have share on this one. When I started, just learning about intuition, when I first sort of heard about what it was, I went out and tried to develop it. I tried to see what it is and what it meant, and I did it in more of a psychic sense. I would be in these gatherings of people, and they would be sitting around, and oh, I had this amazing experience, and I saw these shapes and colors, and I talked to these people, and I was like, that doesn't happen to me. I must not have it. That doesn't happen to me. I must not be intuitive. And I see you laughing, Dawn. Thank you. So what I eventually, this conversation today just keyed me into this. I eventually just stopped worrying about how other people do it. And I went, okay, there's my whole entire life, people have been going, you're an old soul. It's like, you have some kind of wisdom or something, and yes, a gift, but I don't think it's a gift that, I believe it's a gift that everyone has. I just think a lot of people, and maybe most people, don't understand it or doubt it. And so my, intuition comes in just by being with someone or even a group of people and just being completely focused and present. Having my attention on the person I'm, talking to or working with, or the group of people I'm communicating with, or even when I'm writing, when I write my materials, even for our juicing programs, I'm connecting with just whatever you want to call it. But for me, I'm connecting with this, just who I really am. I'm not trying to go out and bring information to me. I'm like, sit still and quiet and let it come up from in me. So that's how intuition works for me. And what I love about this chapter, I actually love the council, because I love his stories, because look, the time when he was writing, this wasn't, now we can sit down today and talk about, I connected with my angel guides, and like his day, if you said that, you'd probably end up, like, I don't know, it just wasn't, we have some kind of common speak that we do that people tend to like accept that. Well, sort of, depending on what circles you're in, I guess. My circle's accepted, but we're all weird, so it's okay. Anyway, I'm getting off track. I love this chapter. I love his circle of people. I love the idea of sitting down and talking with whoever I'd like to bring into my council, and bring, for me, it's not talking to those people the same way he did it. For me, it's what qualities of this person do I really appreciate and want to embody, and what would my life be like? Who would I be with these qualities? So I love what he did with his counsel, and I love that it sparked some creative imagination of my own. And for me, imagination and intuition are very, very closely related.
Yeah, absolutely. And Napoleon Hill even points this out, that our creative, or our intuition is simply the creative imagination. And we just don't get this, that we can really make it up, And oftentimes when we just allow ourselves to tap into, like, if I really knew, if I could just imagine that I knew everything, what would I know? Those kinds of questions are powerful. And we're going to talk about that. That's actually the magic key to unlocking your intuition, is a great question. And I talk about it all the time, but it is one of the absolute, hidden secrets to accessing your intuition, is simply knowing how to ask the right questions. Most people are asking questions about, why is my life so hard? And your intuition is giving you answers. We get answers to every question that we ask. So we have to be very careful. This is a very on topic, and I hope if anyone is listening to this that you're taking notes, because we are taught to think for ourselves, but we're not, we're taught, think for yourself, have your own opinions, have your own thoughts, but we're not really taught how to guide our thoughts to giving us information that will make us better people in the future, or make us more of who we are in the future. We're not given information on how to really expand ourselves as human beings. Intuition and asking yourself questions about that open you up to more possibilities is really the secret key to intuition. And and I hope that just sparked a huge divine light in you, because, or whoever's listening or watching online, because this is such an important thing. We have to get into the practice of stop asking ourselves questions that we don't want to know the answer to, and ask ourselves questions of that we really want to know the answers to. What are my greatest gifts? And allow your creative imagination to go into the zone. Wow, how am I like Napoleon Hill? I tell you what, my creative imagination is so strong in this regard that I actually have come to believe, through creative imagination, that every single time I touch the book Think and Grow Rich, or think about the book Think and Grow Rich, I actually instantly start channeling Napoleon Hill. That's how powerful my creative imagination is. And I feel that, I imagine I mean, this is really how it works for me. I imagine that he has given me hidden secrets. We have to be able to allow ourselves to have this freedom to use our creative imagination in this way, and it's so powerful. You can use it, and I'm rubbing my hands together because it's just so juicy. You know, when you think about how we limit ourselves in creating our business, creating our lives, and how really using your intuition is the secret sauce to creating this easy and effortless success that you've always wanted. And you know you want it. It's just when we're making it hard, we're making intuition, like Crystal said, about psychic things, about seeing colors. You know what? It can be that. It can be that, but it doesn't have to be that for you. And the more you practice allowing yourself to be creative in your own way of figuring out what your intuition is, the more you're going to tap into your own genius. And that's what I love about this. Anything else that anyone else want to pop in? Did that, excuse me, spark some thoughts or intuitive nudges from you? I mean, it may have given you some insights on how you've been making it hard and how, oh my gosh, this is really that easy? Seriously? Yeah, it is.
Hi. It's
Hi, Andrea.
Okay, so love what you were saying, Crystal. And Dawn, you just really sparked some stuff in me. I've always known that I've been intuitive, and often I can feel when that intuition and those things are just moving through me. But, I'd often hear in the last chunk of change a lot of coaches talking about how, oh, they worked with their spirit guides and, they built their business and everything. And I keep looking at myself like, what's wrong with you? Like, so who are your spirit guides and how come you're not getting in touch with them? And was like, I had this desire, this yearning to be able to build my business the way these other individuals were describing that they built their business. And theirs was all through, the connecting with their spirit guides, their angels, their intuitions. And I just kept making it harder and harder and harder for myself. And I'm really glad that I've seen how I made it harder and harder for myself. And I don't need to have things look like it does, say, for you or for Crystal or for whomever else, and just allow it. And you're right, it is about those questions. And you just created a lot of sparks, and I just had to say thank you.
You are welcome. You're welcome. And does anyone else want to chime in here and share? Robin, did you have any? Oh, I see you're typing some things. So let me see what.
Yeah,
okay,
I can just say it.
Okay.
I can completely relate to everything that's being said. It's so funny because there's such a proliferation of all this stuff about guides and intuition and psychic and everything, but it does still feel like it's kind of a doing, like, okay, try really hard and you'll have this, and rather than just to ask, like you're saying, ask the right questions that have it just show up because it's already there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one of the things. Okay, so here's the thing: if you're taking notes, get out a pencil and a paper because you're really going to want to write this one down. The reason why this is the last chapter, I mean, there is a reason why this is the last chapter, and there's also a reason why there's a lot of intuitive people, and I've been there. There's a lot of healers and practitioners who are connected to their intuition in the way that we, that we thought that we had to be connected to our intuition, who are not getting it, who are not getting that success, who are not getting that kind of life that they, they might be still struggling. And here's the reason. Okay, are you ready? Because intuition is the way intuition is laid out. And remember, I talked about last month about how the chapters in Think and Grow Rich are really a story, your story. If you read this through and you say, and you put your own personal story into Think and Grow Rich, like, what was that first desire? What was the thing that I wanted first? So it goes back to, and it's not and it can be, we'll see. There's two different ways to look at this. You can have goals and really know that you want the thing, the goal outside of there. Or you can just allow your goal to simply be to express yourself as fully as possible and to know who you are deeply and intimately and have a great life, like the best life possible. I like the second one best because goals kind of didn't work for me for a long time. I was, trying to force myself into the goal thing. The point is that when you start out with the big picture in mind, you know the direction that you can basically guide your intuition to giving you the answers. What happens so many times is where people develop their intuition without a goal, without a reason. They're just developing and oftentimes find themselves in picking up energies that aren't productive. Do you understand what I'm saying? That are not productive for their fulfillment, for their success, and for their goal. And they're figuring out, why do I keep attracting this stuff? Well, because you haven't really latched on to what you really want. And it doesn't have to be, I know what my desire is. How about, like, I just desire to feel amazing at the next stage of my, up level, at the next stage of my business. I just desire to grow my business or my life in a way that I just want to continue to say yes. And if you're giving yourself these kinds of messages, then your intuition is going to give you the answers and the responses that go along with that. So when Napoleon Hill's talking about this being the very last chapter and that you have to go through all the other principles before you can really understand how this works, this is really the reason why. Because you have to start out with a direction to give your intuition. And I wrote about this in the 7 Keys to Freedom. I wrote the chapter on intuition. I wrote the chapter on the will. And what we do is we tend to get ourselves, using our will in a way that forces us to do stuff that we don't want. Well, intuition will really open. When you're opening up your intuition in a way that says, I'm actually slobbering. I'm so excited about this. When you're opening up your intuition in a way that says, this is the direction I'm going. Give me everything that I need to make sure that, that this is what I have, and knowing and trusting, going through the trusting, the faith, trust, using your creative imagination to kind of like imagine those pieces coming together. What does that look like? And then going through those, each one of the chapters of the book, Think and Grow Rich, until you can really say, okay, I know where I'm going. I've created a plan, and my intuition is just like giving me the plan too, by the way. Your intuition will give you the plan. I think this is something else that's a big major aha for some people. Your intuition, get it in your face, your intuition actually is what gives you the plan. And we're trying to follow everybody else's plan and their structure. Unless we're listening to our intuition and our intuition says, use their plan. Use the plan that person is using. And you go plug into their system and you invest in their coaching and whatever, and you get a hold of their plan because your intuition led you there, then you're really going against the natural flow and ease in your business. And that is, you do not want anyone else's plan. You've got a code for success that's in you, and your intuition really is the thing that helps you find it. And I am done slobbering. I hope you're enjoying this because I'm having a good time.
First of all, you were not slobbering at all, Dawn.
Oh, I could feel it.
No. Because you just brought up so many valid, majorly valid things. It resonated with me. I'm sure anybody else that's, here with us in the little room here and outside, it is totally resonating with them. Because if we just allow it, we don't feel like we have to follow somebody else's. You're right, it is within us. And for those years that I was yearning to be able to create my business and my business model and the structure and all of it, as I was hearing the others describe how it came for them, no more pinching off. And it isn't somebody else's plan that I need to purchase. Just need to allow. But that's that tricky thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That allowing.
And you're right, and it doesn't mean that you don't invest in yourself and invest in somebody else's coaching and get somebody to help you, but what it does mean is that you're following your intuition. You are actually creating your own plan, and your own plan says, okay, this is really, I see what they're doing. There's a piece of this puzzle that I want to learn, and you allow yourself to get there, and you allow yourself to be inspired. Allow yourself to be inspired to work with somebody. Don't do it out of obligation, because if you're thinking you just should do something or you should invest in somebody's program, you're not serving yourself, and you're certainly not serving them. And if you're in my, like if you're coaching with me and you think it's because you should, then I can't help you. It would be like, you'd be like dead weight in my, my programs. I would have to do a whole lot of work, because you would be going against your own natural guidance system, and it just would not be effective. It wouldn't be an effective partnership. And I really, really think that this is something huge, because there's programs out there that are amazing. There's mastermind coaching programs out there that are full of people who are not divinely guided and inspired, and having that intuitive sense that this is really for me. And that kind of energy within a program creates, real magic. And that's really what you're looking for when you want to be in places that the magic is there, like you are appreciating their program. And appreciation, Crystal, you talked about this a little bit in the beginning too, about how you activate intuition by just being in that state of appreciation. It is such an important thing to be in a state of an appreciation for yourself, caring enough about your business and your life and what you're doing to say, wow, I really, and allowing your intuition to show you that, illuminate where the appreciation is flowing from you. And then maybe that's where you go and work next. So rubbing my hands again, it's juicy.
It is juicy. I really like when you, and you talked about this for a short time and then moved on to something else, but we have to drive our own bus, right? Especially when we're bringing in, like Napoleon Hill, when he brought in his council, he didn't have them tell him what to do. He started his council by saying, thank you for being here. I'm sitting at the head of the table. This is what I appreciate in you, and this is what I want to receive from you. Yeah. And he was very clear, like with the Napoleon that was at his table. He didn't say, don't teach me, to be a trader. He said, teach me these things, these qualities that you do have that you can pass on. So I love that, it's a combination of, we need to direct. I mean, that's one of the reasons I couldn't connect with my guides and angels in the first place, was that I was hoping they would come in and rescue me and give me all the answers, when I'm the one. I'm the one who has to guide my own life. That's why I'm the creator here. That's why we're here, right? So, thanks, Dawn. This is fun.
Oh my gosh! And you just popped in like a whole nother level of this. I mean, really, and getting people to really understand, like, you are the guide. That's it. You're the guide guiding the guides to give you the information that you need in order to do the things that you want. And that is the most amazing thing. You are the creator. I love that, Crystal. You are the creator. You are the guide. And we're so into doing this in a way that says, oh, what do my guides want from me today? Well, you know what they want? They want you to tell them what the heck to do, because they really want to be busy. They want to get on a busy train and get you people, to connect you with the right people. They want to help you make your life easier. They want to see you succeed, but they want you to tell them, what do you really want? And I think it's so fun. And yeah, ask, and it's given. And I'm gonna kind of go into a really kind of an interesting place, and I hope that this will help people who are in that state of, like Dawn, I can hear the questions. Dawn, so you asked the question, or you posed the idea that once you have the desire, and go through the steps of Think and Grow Rich, then your intuition goes, how do I know I have so many different desires? So this was a visualization. I'm going to just offer this right in the middle of this. This was a visualization that was given to me while I was, like in a live visualization process, and it came to me just, in the moment through intuition, and I thought it was so beautiful, and now I share it often. So here it is. So imagine, you can close your eyes or keep them open. I'll keep them open. So imagine that every single time that you have a desire, it's like a string, a golden thread goes straight from your being and outward, and it paves a path, a possible path to the future. So your desire, like emanates from you. I have a desire to run a race. Zip. It's a possible path. I mean, you're paving this golden string of possibility. And then what happens is we we go to another desire, and then it goes into another direction. Well, I have a desire to do this, and it goes off into another. And what we really are is this, because we desire so many things, that imagine yourself walking around like a spaghetti ball, or I have kids and we have spaghetti balls. They're like little balls with little spaghetti strings out. But imagine that you are just like this beaming light, like a sun ray, where you just have all these little strings of golden light just beaming right from you, with all of these different desires that are possibilities that you've paved. And if you can imagine that your guides are just like, well, we're going to help you, whichever, like they're already down, like helping you with all of the possibilities. Any one of them that you choose to walk down, they're already out there helping you. And because they just respond. They would respond to whatever you want. So they're responding to your desires. And so imagine that, so you've got like the golden string and like a little angel at the end of each string, like helping you. Like, yes, they've paved the way for you, but you have not stepped onto that golden path. And then this is really kind of where the magic happens. If you can imagine that all of those strings, like those spaghetti strings of golden light, coming together and like just merging into one, like a bundle of fiber optics, just kind of condensed, and they're all together and it's glowing, and that you notice that they all kind of come together. And imagine it going straight through the top of you, down through your head, down, 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 down. And imagine that gigantic bundle of all those desires that you've ever had coming through you, through your body, straight to the ground, straight down through the earth, grounding you into being alive on the planet, a human being, not just a spiritual being, but a human being, grounding you down. And then if you can imagine this, looking down on the ground around you, imagine that there is a golden disc where all those light beams just kind of go through, and you're standing on this golden disc. Now, imagine that you take a step and you're trying to step off of your divine path. You're trying to go into a different direction, like, I'll go this way instead of that way. And imagine that you try to step off of that golden circle, and no matter where you step, imagine that golden circle kind of illuminates the step that you're taking. So you can't go anywhere. You cannot step anywhere without being on the right path. And I think that this is kind of an interesting thing to think about too, is because you can't do it wrong. You can't separate yourself from the divine guidance and your power to create. You can't do anything. You can desire like the worst stuff in the world, but you totally can't get away from your connection with Source, with Spirit, with your own perfect place on earth. So imagine that everywhere you go, your path is illuminated with this golden disc, but it is formed by your own desires. You just get to choose. There's so much power in this idea of choosing which path that you're going down. You get to choose so many things. And you know what? If you choose, you can choose more than one. It's a freak show. Think about it. You can actually choose to do more than one thing. I choose to do lots of things. I choose, and the focus and being able to focus really comes after you allow yourself and feel yourself. I mean, this is really about allowing yourself to have the self-confidence in knowing that you can do the things. If you don't give yourself permission to choose more than one, how are you going to know which one is the one that really gives you the most pleasure? And if you don't allow yourself to try and play and do different things, you'll never, ever, I mean, you will. I'm like, you can't do it wrong. But there's the possibility of something so right out there for you. And that's really what intuition is about, being inspired, taking action, and trusting yourself. So going through that whole process. Anyways, any ahas, thoughts, and things? I see people are chiming in on the event page. Anyone in here want to pop in? Did you like that visualization?
Yeah, it was awesome. I love that the golden disc goes with me. That's perfect, and it's a great reminder, and it gave me a great visual for something I observed Abraham saying, who I love the Abraham messages, but you can't get it wrong and you can't get it done. And you can't get it wrong because you can't get it done, which to me means just make a choice and go for it. If it's not, quote, the right choice, all I did was I just pulled a Thomas Edison. I discovered another way the light bulb doesn't work. Try the next thing. It's okay, and like I don't have to feel guilty about it. I don't have to beat myself up about it. Just like I'm just moving myself closer to being and having and doing what I'm really asking for.
Yeah, and that you just, again, I mean, this is one of the reasons I love these hangouts and these masterminding type of environments where we can feed off of each other's knowledge. I mean, I'm saying this, but you are putting it into a great visual. Like, we've been taught through Think and Grow Rich, and we've been taught by master, the personal development industry. We think that yes, once you have that big, you have to focus on the one light bulb, right? You have to focus on the one light bulb. But what if your series of choices were all the different ways that the light bulb, I mean, your light bulb is you. I mean, this is really another possibility, and I really love that you brought that visual in for me and for everybody else, that each different idea is just one new way that the light bulb doesn't work, and it's, it always works. I mean, the thing is that every time you try something new, a new way to make that light bulb work, and you learn something about yourself, you see that contrast. I mean, if you're talking about the Abraham material, you see the contrast between, what works and what doesn't, what you like and what you don't. I mean, it may be functional, but it may not look beautiful for you, and you may want it to be more beautiful. And I really appreciate that. So, Andrea, did you have something you wanted to pop in here and comment on?
Well, I'm just soaking this in, and your visualization was incredible, Dawn. Really, and just, we ask, we receive. When we allow, we really receive. And at this very moment, I'm just in a full appreciation for myself of the allowing that I've been doing.
Yeah.
This is the evidence. And Crystal, yes, it is like we're the Edison, and we so that was the way that it doesn't work. Because here's a way that it does. And we need the contrast, right? We need to know. Yesterday I was watching something on TV. It's some kind of trashy TV show that I like to watch, my reality TV. But one of the women had said something about herself, about she was desiring a challenge. And that just sparked things within me of, I had been desiring more challenges. than desiring other things for whatever the reason was that I chose to desire challenges. So it's just this, the self-awareness, the self-appreciation, the guidance, being on the leading edge, having these leading edge conversations is just so absolutely incredible. So big thank you to everybody. Much, much, much appreciation.
We got a lot
and
of.
now I'm slobbering. So
We have a lot of, there's a lot of really powerful, intuitive energy in each of us. And, here's the funnest thing I think about appreciation. You're talking about appreciation, is when we appreciate, and I'm doing this whole, and I think I mentioned this on Monday, if you're on my Hangout on Monday, a whole spiritual practice on just being in the state of self-appreciation, which is transformative. I'm telling you, if you find this, if you think that you want to try it out, go ahead and try it out. Do it in a community with somebody else that you can trust, with, and who you appreciate too, because there's this whole level of activation, of energy activation, and I believe that it's actually changing our DNA when we do this type of appreciation. But here's what happens, I know for me personally, is that when you appreciate somebody else's gifts, it sort of activates the gift in you. So when you appreciate somebody else's intuition without judgment of the fact that you can't figure it out for yourself, you allow yourself to tap into that. So when we're praising somebody else's, intuitive prowess, or we're praising somebody else for their leadership skills, but we're in that state of, oh gosh, but they have great leadership skills, but I don't have any. You kind of separate yourself from this divine flow of, of good. But when you look at somebody else and you say, wow, I really appreciate that person is leading on the leading edge, or they're leading as a leader, I appreciate their intuition, and you're in the state of appreciating them and appreciating yourself for being there and receiving it and seeing it. It's like you get to be that whatever the gift that you're appreciating, you get, it transfers. It's like a transfer of knowledge between the two people, and divine knowledge, not just like book knowledge. So stay in that state of appreciation, because it's really powerful. And these are leading edge conversations, like we've been having these for so long, but I'm having them out loud, and we're, you don't have to pay $1 million to be a part of these conversations. Just have to be willing to join.
So I'm going to jump in on that, because Andrea typed a great comment inside the Hangout that says we're on the leading edge, having leading edge conversations. I love that. I love that you said that, Andrea, for a number of reasons. One, because I love hearing people. Let me go down a different path. Because leading edge and leading edge conversations doesn't mean we're better than anyone else. From my perspective, it just means we're willing to have a conversation different than the status quo, and we're willing to be on the leading edge of people who are starting to think differently, to think more, in a self-expressed, self-confident way, deeply inner, self-directed and guided. And what we do is literally changing the world. It's changing how we all think and operate as a society, because the more of us who think for ourselves and start seeing things differently, it's contagious.
Yeah, and we're talking about the leading edge of our own, possibilities. I think that's kind of important, to be here and to be constantly willing to be on that leading edge, no matter where we are in our own business, no matter where we are in our own life, is to kind of pushing the limits of what we believe is possible. And I just love being here with you guys and being on the leading edge, and you bringing these conversations, every comment that's on the Facebook page, every comment that's on the event page on Google Plus, every comment that's on my web page is adding to this leading edge of consciousness. It's adding to the conversation, and it's adding to our collective understanding of like, really how easy it really is, and how hard we've made it in the past, and not to be judging, and definitely this is not about regret. Regret is one of the worst things that you can do for yourself, especially when you're learning to grow your intuition. You got to let go of that. I mean, and just appreciate the journey and appreciate that contrast, like Andrea said. I mean, it is a very, very powerful thing to be in a state of appreciation for that extreme contrast that you have gone through, to realize, oh, wow, if I was, if I was that messed up, just imagine how enlightened I'm going to be. Like, I really am. And I think I feel like I've got like the gold medal for transformations, but I know that everybody else who's gone through any of their own personal transformation also gets a gold medal. So if you can go from one extreme to another, I mean, it's just so powerful. So Andrea says, change oneself, and there's an outer effects of that change. It is so true. When we're doing this work and we're changing the conversations, this is really it. We're changing the conversations that we're having. We're talking about intuition, and we've got about 13 more minutes left. What would be the best way to end the conversation on intuition, and how Napoleon Hill brings it in here? I'm going to allow your intuition to answer, like, this is how we do it. Ask the right questions. What would be the best way? What would be the best way to end the conversation on intuition? What else can we illuminate to help the world who's watching this understand that you can do it your own way. There's no right way connecting to your guides. There's no right way. You're the master. What do you want to hear, and what do you feel is the best way to end this conversation? Raise your hands. Anyone getting any intuitive nudges?
Okay, so I was going to type it, but I'm such a slow typer, so
awesome.
Okay, so maybe, Dawn, if you're okay with this, would be to share some more really kind of thought-provoking and intuition-provoking questions that we can be asking ourselves to open up the floodgate.
We could totally do a little rampage of appreciation for the flow of questions that's going to come to us, and just share as we do it. Would that be fun?
Yes.
Share questions as you think, as they come to you, that will make you, and I'll share them because they just come to me. This is what they do. And this is one of the ways I think that this is the only tool that I use. And if you're a coach, and I know that there's just a ton of coaches out there listening, if you're a coach, this is how you help your clients get the answers that they need, right? You ask them the right questions, and not the wrong questions. Don't ask them about, well, why haven't you done this before? That's a not. I'm going to shake my little finger at you. That's not a good question to ask your client. Why haven't you done this yet? Well, how about, what would inspire you to do the thing that you just know you really want to do? That's a good question. Just what would inspire me? So I'm going to start just with that little tiny little thing. What would inspire me? And I'm going to let you just pop on in. Spark, go ahead, chat, talk. We have comments on here. I'm going to type the question in here on the event page too. So what would inspire you? What else? What other questions are there that we can ask ourselves? Crystal?
There's so many. It seems like such a big question. And I'm like,
Spew a few of them out.
What would make this easier?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to see this in a different light?
Yeah, that's great.
I just paused because I saw Robin pop in.
Oh, I am just thinking too. I have a bunch of questions like, who would be fun to play with in this? Is a good one for me. And what's something fun? What's fun that I want to do right now? How can I play?
Awesome. And Elizabeth has a great question here, and I'm not sure if it's a question for us or if it's a question that'll spark intuition, but I love this. How can we continue this conversation? I mean, if you're talking to a potential client, asking those kinds of questions. How can we continue this conversation? How can we go through this together? And if you're in a relationship, oh my gosh. Really, this is such a powerful thing if you're in a committed relationship. Speaking in terms of a positive outcome is such a powerful way to spark the intuition, because we get stuck in sometimes cycles and habits and behaviors. And I know this is kind of a little bit off topic, but this is so powerful when you're in business business relationships. You're in a relationship with your spouse or a relationship with your children. Ask questions that are always leading to the higher ground. How can we make this work? That's a great question. How can we make this work?
I also find sometimes questions starting with how create more anxiety for me.
Okay.
Because it's like, if I knew how to do that, I would have done it by now. So what I like to do is I like to ask myself, if how's not working, I'll ask myself, okay, what do I require right now to make this easier for myself? And if that doesn't work, I go to imagination. All right, imagine this is already done, and I already have whatever this thing is aced. Like, it is now woven within me. It's a part of who I am. What's new and different in my life? And what did I do to get here?
Oh, see, that's powerful manifesting techniques. Now, see, those are like advanced manifesting techniques, and those are just, powerful questions, Crystal, coming from the place that, you've already had it, and looking back and asking you, what happened to make it happen. I mean, that's really all you need to do in order to manifest whatever you want. When we get to, the biggest thing, I think, when we're talking about intuition, I mean, the outcomes that we want are always things like, and I'm not saying always, the outcomes, if you can kind of tap into these types of ideas, what would make it, we'll just do that instead of how, what would make this easy? Or what made it easy, if you're going to do the, super manifestation techniques. What would make it easy? What would make this, how does this flow effortlessly from here? And I'm just, I use the word how because I usually get a step. So if you're not getting a step, you can go back and kind of tap into that idea that, gosh, it really is so much easier than I think. Take a deep breath and allow your intuition to just respond to you being tuned into that flow of ease and joy in your business. Hello, Elaine. I'd love to hear what you have to say, just popping in. Do you want to join us?
I just want to say one thing real quick. I want to thank you guys for sharing. And Crystal, thank you for, for saying that the word how doesn't work for you. And then, because how doesn't work for you, and you spoke it out loud and you shared that. And Dawn, you share what works for you, and everybody's sharing and being honest and authentic just really gets this energy going and spark stuff. So I just want to say thank you to you guys.
You are welcome. And of course, you know, I go back to the mastermind principle. I mean, this really is the mastermind. We're doing the mastermind principle. We're practicing the mastermind principle in a way that we are masterminding about a single topic. We're masterminding about the topic of intuition. And this is really how I use this is, and I just said, this is how I have developed my mind, the mind, in my personal mind, and learning and going deeper and deeper and deeper into the, you know, the deep wells of understanding and truths that are in this chapter on Think and Grow Rich. And because I've done these exact things for years, you know, that's what we're doing here, in group situations where we're talking about the topic and we're applying it to our lives. So when, you know, I encourage you, when you're looking at your business, to have a mastermind group that you can do this, and the topic being your business, the topic being your success and the easy and effortless growth. And if everybody doesn't believe in easy and effortless, it's your responsibility, because you're on the leading edge, to get them on board. That's my 2 cents. That's my call for action today. Be on the leading edge. Be willing to have these conversations that say, you know, there is a much easier and effortless way possible for us. Let's look at what that might look like. And I think it's so much easier and so much more fun.
Hey, Dawn, I'm in here. Can I say hello?
Yeah, love to hear you. Hi, Elaine.
Hi. I love hearing discussions about intuition. And while I popped in rather late, I saw Crystal talking about how what's important is this willingness and this curiosity to just see something differently. If we're feeling constricted, in fear, kind of balled up about something, we're in discomfort, the first part is recognizing that's going on and then saying, okay, I can make a different choice. How can I see this differently? And then Crystal also powerfully said, it's about curiosity. So think about it. When we were little kids, we were just curious about everything, and we played so naturally, and we laughed so naturally. And so much of humanity is challenged now to return to this state of curiosity and play. And some of you know that I teach and share laughter yoga, where we're laughing like on purpose, and we're bringing laughter to everything. When we do this activity for like 10 or 15 minutes or more, often in a group or following along a video or something like that, we make an energetic shift in our body, and we also have an experience that opens us up to our joy. And then when we're in that shifted place, then we can see more clearly. Maybe we can connect with that heart, that intuitive sense that can feel a little bit more into the answer. When we're in that natural curious place, again, we can't demand that the answer is going to come right in that moment. But if we've posed the question and we're kind of relaxed, then sometimes we notice the answers just kind of bubble into our mind as we're doing something. You know, people often say, if you're doing the dishes or you're doing gardening and you're just in that place of doing the dishes or doing the gardening, you're in that flow, and then you might notice, like an idea just bubbles into your mind. It was the answer that you were looking for about something. So that's my comment for the morning. I'm so happy to be here, even if it's in the tail end of things.
Well, I know I, for one, love you being here, because you do bring that laughter and that yes energy everywhere you go. So I love that. And just wanted to say a little shout out to Elizabeth, who's watching from the event page, and she's being so kind as to comment. And she says she loves to start out her intuitive questions with "I wonder," and I love that too. Like, I wonder what would make this even more juicy, or I wonder how we can add entertainment and add fun to this. I wonder how we can, I wonder where it's coming from. Actually, I wrote a whole book on, it's called Mindful Manifesting, and it's not currently up on Amazon, but it was up there for a while. And the last piece of that was to be in a state of wondering, I wonder when it's going to happen. I wonder what it's going to look like. I wonder, like wondering about the manifestation of the thing that you're bringing in, because it puts you in a state of expectation. It puts you in a state of appreciation. It's just like a beautiful, beautiful state to be in. And just thought I'd put that out there as well. It's kind of like to end it. One of the I had a little thing, it just escaped me here. It was a response to what Elaine was saying, about allowing it to come to you later. Here's my homework for everyone, anybody who's listening who cares to do some homework on this. Keep an evidence journal, okay? It's so important. Keep an evidence journal of the things that you're manifesting, the things that are easy and effortless in your life. Keep an evidence journal of the things that you're bringing into your life that you appreciate. Keep write an evidence of all this stuff. Write down the evidence that your intuition is on. When you feel that you've received the answer to a question that you're asking, just write it down. This builds your belief in yourself. It builds your self-confidence. It builds your mental muscles to make you a powerful and convicted person that just knows that whatever it is that you set your mind to, that you'll have, and when you write it down, you're actually putting your heart into it, and you're honoring the manifestation, and you're honoring the evidence as it comes to you. So that was my little piece of homework, and everybody that I have shared that with who has actually done it has had major transformations in how easy they manifest things. So it's a big key. I hope that you take that and run with it. And until next time, I'm going to let anyone have final words that they want to say?
I wanted to ask you something, Dawn, because this is the last chapter of the Think and Grow Rich book. Yes?
Yes, it is.
Now what happens? Do you start all over again from chapter 1?
That's what I've been doing. I've been recycling for years, and sometimes what I'll do is when I'm inspired, I use my intuition, and as I am inspired, I'll do things differently, meaning sometimes I'll do like a group where we're doing a chapter a week. But this just feels like the right way to do it right now, just to get people into the habit of being here the first Monday of every month. And unless it's a holiday, we're going to be here at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the first Monday of every month. And we'll go through. So the next week we're going to talk about the introduction, or next month we'll talk about the introduction, not the first principle, but the introduction, which is the whole Thoughts Are Things chapter. So
you're changing the day then from Wednesdays to Monday?
Oh, you know what? No. This is a Wednesday. No, Wednesdays. The first Wednesday.
Okay.
Don't do the Mondays. Dawn just, is not talking right. Wednesdays. We're doing the Women Think and Grow Rich on Wednesdays. I have another one that I do on Mondays. So my Empire Building Mastermind hangouts are on Mondays at noon. This is one Wednesday a month, the very first Wednesday morning at 9:30. Whew. Okay.
I have another question, Dawn.
Okay.
My Think and Grow Rich book has a chapter 15.
Mine does too. You know what? And we should do the chapter 15.
Where did you guys get these books?
I got mine at Half Price Books, which is it's actually, they do new and used books, but I specifically looked for the original 1937 version because I know.
So is that where he uses the word vibration instead of think?
Oh, he uses vibration in most of them. I mean, it's not all over it. You just have to. The original version, it's just some of the words are twisted. It's not twisted, but just rearranged. But You know, the one that's on my website, if you download that, that's the original version. If you go to dawnnocera.com/TGR, you can, it'll automatically, once you put your email in there, it'll automatically give you access to the PDF, and that PDF is the first original version.
Oh, thank you.
It's in the public domain, so you can get it anywhere, but that's where you can go to, you know, to access that, and anybody can access that there. And download that copy. It is the original copy. And yes, we've got to do the last chapter because this is really, you know, and I'll see if I can even get Sharon Lecter on because she's amazing. She wrote Outwitting the Devil.
Yes.
And this last chapter is called you know, How to Outwit the Sixth Ghost of Fear, and it's really about so much more than that. And when we do the following month, I think will be June maybe, then the following month, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give everybody, give you like the outline of how I suggest people to read the book. When I suggest, and I'll tell you right now, if you're going to read it from the start to the end, one of the things I suggest doing is when you read Desire, the very first chapter, you also read chapter 15 on Outwitting the Sixth Ghost of Fear. Because the moment you have the desire, you're also going to have these fears that pop up. So you might as well read that last chapter while you're reading the first. And then there's a combination of chapters that I have come to understand that really work well reading them together. That we'll talk about that in June. Yeah. So, I think I have had Crystal up on the screen. So happy that you look so beautiful today. Anyways, I'm going to stop the live broadcast, and if you want to stick on and ask more questions, you can. I so appreciate everyone coming here and being on the leading edge of, you know, consciousness and conversations and success, and being here with me and adding your value, adding your questions, and adding what you, you know, how you are using these principles in your life to help your business grow. And until next time, be grateful and appreciate yourself. Think big, take inspired action, and for crying out loud, enjoy the journey.